fans, where have you been? How are you guys doing today? I hope everybody's having a great day today. Chris back, and we are going to be talking about, okay, over the next few days, over the next few installments, I have been visiting the Invasion of the Body Snatchers films, okay? So we're starting off with the 1956 one, then we're going to the 1978 Donald Sutherland one, then we're going to the Abel Ferrara 1993 one, and we're going to finish up with the Invasion with Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig from like 2013, I think, maybe something like that. Maybe earlier. I don't know. But I guess we'll know when we get to that one, won't we? But today, we're going to be talking about the original, the very first Invasion of the Body Snatchers, starring Kevin McCarthy and directed by Don Siegel. This is from 1956, and to me, this is one of the original science fiction horror films, right? It's not strictly horror, and it's not strictly science fiction. It's the first film that really amalgamates the two, you know what I mean? It really brings them together, and I thought, it's fantastic. In fact, I'm not the only one who thinks it's fantastic, because in 1994, the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress, it got added to the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress for cultural significance and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm not the only one who thought it was a great movie. In fact, the lead star, Kevin McCarthy, he was friends with another actor who was on a big budget prestige picture with Elizabeth Taylor, something county, Forgotten County, or something like that. But anyway, he was really jealous of his friend who was in that movie, the lead actor of Body Snatchers. And comes to find out, both of them were surprised, because the film that his friend was making has virtually been forgotten, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, as I just said, is now in the film registry at the Library of Congress. So who knew, right? But anyway, this is, I'm sure all of us have seen, a Body Snatcher reference in our life. Even the young kids today have probably seen a Body Snatchers reference and just don't realize it, because this is, it is culturally and socially important. It has left its mark on, generations of people. Growing up, I didn't see the 1950s when I didn't see any of the Body Snatcher movies until I was probably a teenager or a young adult. But I had always seen references in cartoons, in different shows, things like, pods and pod people. And, in cartoons, people would come out of little pea pods and stuff like that. I remember Tiny Toon Adventures. There was like an episode where Elmer Fudd was growing pod people or something. So Invasion of the Body Snatchers it is a culturally and socially significant film, because look at how much it is influenced and it is still referenced to this day. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, it was scary because you didn't know, like, the premise of it. They say that I've read things that say that it was like a kind of, not a dig, but like a commentary on McCarthyism and communism in Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. And the screenwriter and the author of the book were like, no, that's not really what we're going for here. We're just going for a good thriller. But the director, Don Siegel, was like, there's blatant, social commentary in it. He goes, I just toned it down a little bit. So, there's that. But really, what's the scariest part of the Body Snatchers? Is it the fact that they're taking your body and you're like shriveling up into a husk and dying? And then there's like a clone of you that is a conformist clone that is, there's no emotion, there's no love, there's no hate. It's just you walk around like a zombie and everybody does everything. It's like a hive mind, And so, is that the scariest part? Or is the scariest part knowing that you can't escape it, and that if you fall asleep, you're done? To me, that was the scariest part. It was like, God, you've got to sleep, right? You have got to sleep at some point. And if you can't go to sleep because you've already been infected with these spores, this alien bacteria, whatever it is, and you know that if you go to sleep, you're going to turn into a pod person, your body's going to cocoon up, No, man, forget that. I don't want that cocoon on me, bro. That's the scariest part to me. So, you know, Body Snatchers had, or Invasion of the Body Snatchers had a lot of really good horror in it. And the science behind it was good because they weren't like, hey, this is just what happens. They explained it. They said, okay, well, there was this alien plant, biome, whatever, this biological entity came to Earth, and now it is taking over and restructuring our DNA. Like, for them to know that, I mean, they didn't know about DNA and they didn't word it like that back then, but that's basically what they alluded to. And for them to be smart enough to think that up when there was no science behind it at all, like, that's what good science fiction is, Science fiction that almost kind of prophesizes science in the future, like genetic altering and genetic recoding and all that kind of stuff. So to me, that's awesome. Like, it was way, way, way ahead of its time when it comes to its science, its horror, the way that it develops its characters. And let's talk about the acting. The acting was pretty damn good. Kevin McCarthy's excellent. And then we have, oh man, the lady from Addams Family. She's in it. The mom. Is it Morticia? Yeah, she's in it. She's good in it, but the acting is phenomenal. The directing is great. I mean, you're looking at people who really, like, they felt this film, like they were acting like they were really in a fight for survival. And that was appreciated by me. Kevin McCarthy, I mean, he had scenes where he's like running and running and running. And he even said himself, he's like, I thought I was going to die. He's like, I was cramping up and all that because he was having to run so much. And that running would tire him out and therefore add an extra layer to his performance of being scared and trying to get away and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was just, that was brilliant. I thought that was really good. And overall, I think that the Invasion of the Body Snatchers is one of the most important films of the 1950s, and one of the most important films in all of cinema, really, because it has so much to unwrap. You can watch it so many times and still find symbolism or ideologies or things like that still wrapped up in it that you didn't notice the first time. And that's what makes it such a great movie that has lasted through generations and has spawned so many remakes because they're still trying to catch that lightning in a bottle from the first film. And the only one that's come close is the first remake in 1978 with Donald Sutherland. That's the only one. In fact, I would even, you know what? We'll talk about that next time, guys. Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1956 gets 4.5 stars from me, guys. You can find it streaming on Prime, I think Tubi, MGM Plus. So you've got different avenues to check out Invasion of the Body Snatchers if you've never seen it. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. Absolutely check it out, guys, because it is worth your time. It's worth your brain power. It's worth it all. Enjoy, guys. That's it. I'm going to keep making them as long as you keep watching them. God bless. I love y'all, and I'll see you next time.